to Coog Cinema Reviews. My name is Danielle Jacobo.
My name is Jackson Brock.
And today we are reviewing It, the newest adaptation of Stephen King's classic horror novel. It follows a group of kids in the town of Derry, Maine, as they kind of try to defeat this malevolent cosmic energy that is basically just pure evil and takes the form of a clown and comes after them. So it's just their journey of trying to defeat it and,
Good old Pennywise.
Yeah, Pennywise the dancing clown. So I think our initial thoughts on it, just like a general, was it was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I loved it.
It was. Actually leaving, I wanted to see it immediately again.
I want to see it like 5 more times.
Luckily, I have been able to see it about 5 more times.
Yeah.
Because of my job, but still, it's a fantastic movie. It's a very new take on horror, in the fact that it's not all just silence and kind of like that sadness that you'll get in a horror film. There's something new to it. It's energetic. It's not. There's never really a slow moment, which is nice.
And I really think that has to do with the cast. Like, first of all, when you have a cast that's like primarily children, they kind of bring like this new sprightly energy to it. And this, like, even though it's a horror, they were still just like at the base of it, like kids just trying to be kids, having fun.
Yeah, it's that little force versus this huge force. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, all of the cast did an amazing job.
Of
like
course.
Bill Skarsgård, all of the child actors, like they really dealt well with this like really intense, dark content. And
with the little time they had, and there's so many different kids they had, you were able to get a sense of each of their character and kind of quirks in the short time you get, which is something that people have a lot of trouble with. You have things like all these huge new hero meetups, stuff like Suicide Squad, where you spend a whole movie trying to learn about these people and you know nothing about them, but you feel like you learn more in this movie with these children. Yeah, with each of them. So when you see them in danger, you're like, no.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So the kids did an amazing job, and then Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise
takes it away.
Is amazing. I mean, he takes a whole new like personal spin and effect on Pennywise, and of course, like, a Tim Curry version is a Tim Curry version. You can't really compare them. Like, they're two different performances. I don't think you can say like one is better than the other. They're just different.
They are. They're very different.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Skarsgård just did an amazing job with it, and I mean, I wasn't like surprised. Like, I expected him to do a good job, but it's like you never know going in. But leaving, I was just like blown away by it.
He was the Pennywise that kind of like fit the movie. You have Tim Curry. Tim Curry's was a different time period. It was a lot less graphic. It was a lot less gory, and he kind of fit that. He made it a little bit more psychological in a way. This Pennywise is definitely much more demonic. He has spit coming down his face. He's taunting the children. He's saying he's like gonna eat their arms and whatnot.
Which is different, but I think it is.
It's what the movie needed.
Yeah, it's closer to what the actual novel relays. So it was. I feel like he was a good adaptation for it.
And then one of the big things I love about this film is that watching it and walking out of it is that there is an unsung connection between the older miniseries and this as well. So if you've seen the older miniseries and you've grown up with them or you feared them like I did, seeing this one, you still have that same kind of feeling in the back, and it's nice that they're able to recapture that while making something new and fresh. You have all this new material. You're covering the book a lot more closely. Things are matching up a lot more, but it still feels like that old 1990s that a lot of us had our first kind of like showing of this novel.
No, definitely. It definitely keeps in touch with like the heart of the story and the core of it. And it's like this one is definitely a lot more gory and horrifying, I would say, than the original, just because, I mean, with special effects you can do so much more, and then again for the time period, like what you can show. Like, this movie is scary, but the horror doesn't like outshadow the story or the content or like the message of it, which I really like, because that's what goes wrong with horror, I think, so many times, is that you get so caught up in like jump scares and blood and guts or whatever that it's like you kind of just like lose the story altogether. But this one had both, so it effectively scared you and made you feel something.
And I never felt at any point that you have some movies that it's like, okay, well, they put gore in there for the gross out factor, and then they just take it to a new extreme, and there's no reason for it. The good thing about it too is that it relays a much more graphic piece, but it's still, it's almost artsy in some of the shots that it has. So it feels kind of natural, and it doesn't feel forced.
The cinematography in the setting was great, and I think that plays such a big role in horror. Like, I'm not a fan of jump scares, and I think they're really cheap, and I think to really like scare an audience and evoke like true fear in them, it has to do with like the setting and the imagery and the cinematography and the score, which was also really amazing. But like all of those together like create true fear, not jump scares. And this one had a few jump scares, like of course they're in there, but it mostly relied on like the setting and imagery. And I really admire that, and they did it so well.
Extremely unsettling.
Oh yeah.
But sadly, of course, whenever you're taking a 1,100 page book and you're compressing it into probably 2 hour movies, your script kind of dwindles a little bit, and that's sadly what kind of happens here. And it doesn't take long, but it's that first half of the movie is it's a very repetitive kind of fear after fear. But I mean, that's what you have to do in some of these, like we said, to be able to know these different characters and know their fears and know how this is, you know, kind of preying on them. You have to kind of have that, and it's sad that you need that because of your shrunken time, but still it's there, and you can kind of feel it about the fourth or fifth fear that you start going on.
I will say that there are some parts in the script that are repetitive, but I never felt bored during it. Like it was 2 hours and 15 minutes, but by the time it ended, I was like, wait, it's ending already? I mean,
that's from a script standpoint. From a viewer standpoint, it's fine. I mean, you're just like, okay, just keep showing us more fears because it's a cool little thing. But then again, I know they'll go a lot into the second movie, but as of the first movie, you never really get a sense for what Pennywise really is. I mean, you kind of know that there's something more there, but
they
you don't
explain his origin.
Yeah, well, and I know they'll explain it in the second one, but still leaving the movie at the first, you're still kind of like, well, what is he? You know, you never get anything really solid, and I know some people can be disappointed about that because it kind of takes away that fear factor. It's like, well, if you can't explain it, then why should I fear it?
Yeah, because it is very complex. Like, he's much more than just a clown. And I don't think a lot of people know that going in, like, unless you've looked into it or read the novels, which, I mean, you and I have discussed, like, what he actually is. So going in, like, I kind of got it from, like, the little clues in the movie. But I guess for, like, the average viewer who just went in to see, like, a scary movie, you wouldn't really understand. But like you said, hopefully they cover it in the second movie. And I'm sure they intend to, but yeah, I mean, besides that, I really enjoyed it. I think it's an incredible movie, and I want to see it about a million more times. I don't even like horror that much. Like, I really don't. Like, I try not to watch horror movies, but this one I had to go see, and I'm really glad I did. Even though, like, when I went home that night, I was scared to, like, turn off my lights. I was still...
and that's the good part about it, is that it has had... It's unsettled me more than a movie has in a really long time, but it's also, like, it has a lot of comedy in it. And I know some people have been kind of downing it for that, but I thought that's what kept a lot flowing. You know, in normal horror movies,
like a cast of children, like what are they just supposed to be like dark and dreary the whole time?
In normal like horror films, you have this awkward moment between scares where it's just like really slow plot and development. But here it's like it's joking around, like you want them to continue talking, you want to continue figuring out more, and then you have those scares come in. And I never felt like a scare ruined a funny moment, and a funny moment ruined a scare.
The comedy was structured really well.
Yeah, it wasn't like our Marvel movies where you have a very sad moment immediately into a joke, like I killed your father. Why'd you step on my Walkman?
Oh my gosh, so disappointing. Rest in peace, Star-Lord.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it.
It was amazing. Definitely recommend going and seeing it. I don't think I have any other thoughts on it. You just got to go see it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not a fan of horror films, go see it. I mean, it can be a little unsettling, but it's worth the trip.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I think those are all our thoughts on it. This has been Coog Cinema Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Danielle Jacobo.
My name is Jackson Brock.
If you want to watch more, please subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all that good stuff to keep updated with us. And until then, we'll see you. Thank you.
And see you next time.
Bye.